Now, call the order our meeting of July 17th at 7:01 p.m. I see that Becky Rudy is not here. She was going to give us a presentation. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, Commissioners, have you had a chance to read the minutes?
I have.
I would entertain a proposal to,
I move that the minutes of Wednesday, July 17th be approved or accepted as presented.
okay, a second?
I'll second.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes,
Shouldn't that be June?
that should be July 1st.
Oh,
She said
okay.
July 17th.
Minute.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is, okay, it is July 1st.
There are
Yeah.
two
Well, there's
meetings.
the
There's
first
two of them.
one.
There's June 19 June and 1 July.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't at the 19th June one, so that's, that one first,
And that
yes.
needs to be stated for the record that
That,
it's as presented to you because none of you were there for voting
all right,
purposes.
I'll restate my motion. That we approve the minutes of Wednesday, June 19th for a commission meeting that this board was not at.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now it's a time where we get to hear from our citizens. So is there
There's one more meeting,
one more meeting?
one
Special
more
meeting on
minutes.
July 1.
I'll make the motion
July 1?
for July 1,
Okay,
Monday,
I'm new at this.
Monday,
Right.
July 1st at, and that was when this board was sworn in,
Right.
the minutes for that meeting.
Second?
I'll second that as well.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. There you go.
Passed by majority. Now remarks from our citizens.
First, we have Brian Cole.
Stand or sit?
Whatever, your call.
All right. I've been doing a lot of research on the U.S. Forest Service recreational fees that they charge, and being that we're surrounded by U.S. Forest Service lands and the fees and things that the policies that the U.S. Forest Service does has quite a bearing on our community and the people and the city. As you recall, many years ago, there was a situation where the surfers were accessing the south jetty, and the Forest Service was charging them to pass through the recreation area. And so anyway, I've been doing a lot of research on some other matters. I came across this and compiled this, and I thought I'd bring it and give it to you. You can read it. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you find it's relevant for the Port of Siuslaw, you can do what you may with it. You can hand it out, you can do whatever you want with it. But I've compiled it, and I think it has some relevancy with the Port of
Okay,
Siuslaw.
we'll be happy to look at it.
How many of you are there?
5 commissioners and 1 staff. So 6 would be fine.
Mr. Cole, what's your point? I mean, just in a nutshell, can you tell us? Or?
Well, I've had some issues on another matter where the Forest Service, I thought I was under some rules by the Forest Service, and I come to find out for a lot of years I haven't been. And when you go down through the recreation area and you, like I've always thought that when I went to that dunes area and parked, that I was required to pay their fee. In other words, to have that pass where I could do that. I've come to find out a lot that I don't need that. I don't need that for a lot of reasons within the recreation area. And this outlines it, and it outlines why, and it kind of explains it all. And because the port has adjacent properties, and because the recreation plays an important role, say for the port regarding the people that come and utilize the RV park and utilize the areas that the Forest Service administers the land of, I think there's some relevancy for the port. And so this is information that you can read, and if you find it relevant, you can do something with it. If you don't, then you won't.
Okay?
Okay?
Yes, thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Next, we have Kathy Erickson. from Congressman DeFazio's office.
Thank you. I am the Congressman's Coastal Field representative, and I'm here tonight to bring you greetings from your congressman, and he wanted me to make sure and give his best wishes to this largely new board, to tell you that he is aware of what's going on in Port of Siuslaw, but if there are issues that you want us to know about, please don't hesitate to let us know, and congratulations to you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin.
Next we have David Twombly.
Hi, hey, this is comes back to when you guys had your conversation with Bob Snedden, and we talked about buying locally, and where he asked the question if you guys would support a resolution to buy locally. And I know Nancy didn't get an opportunity to answer that one, but the rest of you all answered affirmatively. You were positive towards the remarks and say, yeah, we think that we should buy within the Port District before we buy outside of the Port District. So I basically, and I don't want you to think that this is just about garbage. I don't think it should be that way. I think that you should encourage or give a directive to the management that they should buy local whenever the opportunity is. I wrote something up so that I could express it better, because I do better writing on paper. So if you guys want, each one have one of those and pass it out. I think that, to me, it should be a natural response that you should always support your neighbor before you support somebody outside of the area if it doesn't affect you economically and it doesn't affect you service-wise. So I kind of feel that it really is too unfortunate that I have to bring it to a state where we have to pass it as, or hopefully we'll pass it as a resolution. But I'm hoping that you guys, as administrator or as commissioners in the position you are, can come up with a resolution, maybe it's not worded so eloquently there, but it is to the point. And I know Mr. Forsyth is very good at what he does, and you could give him some direction in that, so that maybe we could represent our community and say that we want the port people that are inside of our port, that work and own and operate inside of our port, to be number one first, rather than sending our check to Texas or sending a check to California or wherever else you send your check. I think that I wanted to encourage that, and I think it's self-explanatory. So I'm hoping that you guys can work towards a resolution in that form.
Okay, David, we'll discuss it.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
That's all for public remarks.
That's all?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to close the public remarks at this time, and we will look into some financials. Whoever's leading that show.
Well, I'd just like to say a couple things. It's the end of the fiscal year. You've received the June 2013 financials, and with that is basically the end of the 2012-13 fiscal year. The two profit and loss budget performances are, they're fairly condensed. I have available to you any detail you wish to see, since this is your first board meeting. These are just basic financials that I put out, but if you want more detail, I'm happy to provide it. Maybe Nancy and I, since Nancy's treasurer, maybe she and I can get together sometime outside of the meeting, and we can maybe discuss what reports you want to review during these meetings and how much detail you want with them.
This is also the first year that we are off of a month-to-month cash basis and onto a accrual financial situation. So it's different and from anything that you would have seen in the past. And so there's a lot more information available to you with these under this new system. And staff has worked very hard to get us there. So it's I think would behoove you, or at least Nancy, to get involved and take a look at it and see what our forecasts are and what our accrual system is. And this is usually when Bill Flinger jumps in with his. And did we tell them, Bill?
Yes, I have told them that.
Has had some family health issues and is out. Or typically we would, Bill is usually on top of these real well and has asked for different reports and things like that. So.
Are we getting a report on the wharf expense?
Do you want me to provide you a more overall we're basically about 15,000 under budget, and the project is done. We're just
But that's
finishing.
what
up.
I'm
That's what you,
wondering.
okay,
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
all right.
yes. Yes, the project is 2.5 years worth of effort, and it is complete.
In the past meeting, there was the remark about the windows and the replacement. That's part of the,
At Mo's?
yes.
No, those are not part of the project. That is something that we have to take upon ourselves in our own budget to maintain.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, and we have budgeted for them. We have some, about $12,000 that we have budgeted for this year to replace windows anyway that had failed and we're getting
Oh,
ready
okay.
to. And then some drywall from the leveling and things like
Right.
that we have to take care of as landlords, if you will, of the property. But nothing that really was adverse to the project itself, which we were quite surprised. We figured that there would be quite a bit of problems with it. Was not at all. So,
Okay.
yeah, so it really, I mean, to our surprise, really worked out. Ken has gone over and inspected the different areas. We'll be able to do it in the fall when they're less busy and take care of the. How many were there, Ken? The drywall is one.
The drywall cracks, there's probably 8 to 10.
Yeah,
That's not
and they're all
bad,
about,
yeah.
all around the seams. So obviously from leveling, nothing structural. We took care of a door that we had to, about 1.5 inches had to come off of that once the place was level because it hadn't been leveled in 30 years. But other than that, no, very happy with that.
Thank you.
Do we have anything else on financials? Or should we be moving on?
You need to make a motion to ratify the bills.
So moved. Ratify the bills.
I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, item 2, resolution 0717-13A, reappropriate funds for fiscal year 12-13 budget.
That was removed off of the agenda. You have a revised agenda that does not
Oh,
include
yes.
that.
Okay,
After speaking with the auditor, that was removed.
okay. We'll get rid of
We
that
can
one.
move
We'll try
on.
a newer model here.
Everything else is the same.
Okay. Do we have any other old business anybody wants to bring up?
None of us are old.
No, we're all new, that's right. Okay, we'll go on to the new business. We want to approve our meeting schedule for this coming year.
I assume that reflects the third Wednesday of every month.
Except for next August, the next meeting in August. Bob's going to be at a conference in Lincoln City,
Somewhere.
the 20th and 21st. So we needed to postpone that meeting, and we thought we would propose it be the second Wednesday.
So it's the 14th.
That's correct.
We'll be up at the Coastal
Is it-
Caucus. Yes.
Is this a precedent for us to change a meeting when it's normally the third Wednesday of the month?
No, it's typical. We do
Yeah.
that.
Sometimes they fall real close to like Thanksgiving, and that gets changed. So
Okay.
typically they're the third Wednesday, but that's why we do this, is just to let you know if there's any changes.
I have no problem with the 14th.
Does this need a motion, or is it just
I don't think
simply
so. I think it's just kind of housekeeping.
information?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other changes that we foresee? Okay. Committee assignments.
I would like to volunteer to be the person that goes to the Siuslaw Watershed Council.
Okay. I think Bill was down there at one time, but that'd be fine. Whatever I did with my list. There's probably one in this nice, here it is, right here.
Which one was that, Nancy?
The Siuslaw watershed. I've been very interested in what they are doing, and I joined the group, and
Okay,
just wish to continue doing whatever I can.
we'll take Bill off of that and put you in there.
I don't think he minds,
Probably wouldn't.
because he's the one that suggested that I go.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm involved in that somewhat also. Okay, City of Florence Urban Renewal Agency. Anybody have a desire? I guess that's me then.
Can we just put ditto on all them then?
Yeah.
I don't think so. City of Florence Siuslaw Estuary Partnership is kind of tied in with the watershed, because they're involved in that too.
Where are their meetings?
Their
And
meetings, I think, are here in Florence, usually, but I think the city of Florence.
It is
How often do they meet, do you know about?
monthly.
Monthly?
do you know which night?
No, I don't know. We can check into that because we can also
Yeah, because there
we
could
can
be.
also alternate on that, Nancy, because we're part of the part of that program is the one I attend for the Lane County Transportation Act group in Eugene or Springfield, where we are looking to raise STIP money to take that estuary trail all the way around the port properties, and for 2015, 2016 monies. So I'll take a look at it and send you a note.
Okay, because I wouldn't mind if
Okay.
I don't end up with a conflict.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me send Nancy information.
See,
on that.
and put Bob down as an alternate.
Yep.
How about the Chamber of Commerce? Are you a member of the Chamber?
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to be?
Oh, yeah.
Staff already attends that, so if you don't feel
I
that
think
you
I
want
can
to,
be the
that's fine.
alternate, but that way I got my name on the list.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I see.
An easy list.
Very good. Nancy.
Okay, Lane Council of Governments.
That needs to be an elected official, by the way.
Mhm.
Yes.
When and where do they meet, do you know about?
Springfield.
How often?
Monthly.
Really?
In reality, what's our participation at these meetings?
Typically, especially with Lane County, is we have rarely, as you can imagine, being small town, far east, they don't recognize we exist.
Right.
So we go there there's monies available, there's different things that, programs that different governmental agencies are dealing with, state issues, that sort of thing. Jackie Betts, the city manager, attends frequently. NOLA will go periodically, but that typically needs to be an elected official to keep our faces in the face of the folks that are making county-wide decisions on issues that come up in the county, whether they're spending money on major projects or the one I attend is the ACT one, which is transportation, so that we deal with roads, waterways, that sort of thing. So
Typically, have we had a member at LCOG meetings?
yes. Oh, yes.
I put my
John
name
Scott
down in that
has.
slot.
John Scott has typically.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, Ron, that's
The
good. Yeah, I love
LCOG?
Oh, we could have saved that whole conversation.
No. I'd like to hear you talk.
Oh,
And you're
as
on
much as I do.
City of Florence Urban Renewal.
Yes.
You're on that one
Yes.
also?
Which is probably a good combination of those two,
Right.
and John typically did.
What about the next one, Lane Economic Committee?
I'm not familiar with that one at all.
Good, we're gonna skip it.
Mhm.
Mapleton, Bill lives in Mapleton, I think he'd be happy to stay there.
Yep.
And,
So you're gonna put Bill in there?
yeah,
We should fill him in, he's not here. so-
Absolutely.
he's filling them
I
all
mean, I think
rest.
that's a rule.
Yeah,
who's not here to defend himself.
Oregon
I'm never
Coastal
going to be
Zone
absent.
Management.
Yeah.
Bill,
OCZMA?
Don't know. I've never attended. And typically that's because these Bolt ones are elected officials.
Yeah.
You know where they meet?
No, don't know anything about them.
Joshua was involved with that, and I think there was
Why don't we
some
get, we'll send an
report.
email out to you folks once we'll investigate it.
Well, what's
find
For
out
the,
what it
for
is.
the days and,
Yeah, that kind of thing, so you know better what it is.
Yeah.
Oregon Coastal Zone Management Association, what's their purpose?
Yeah, done.
Do you know, Jay?
No.
No.
Why don't we
exactly.
research that and send
Yeah.
it to you guys,
Yeah.
and then that
Okay.
way you
Okay.
can answer your questions on it.
I think they deal with things like wave
Mhm.
energy and those are
I think
topics that they
I-
deal with. That sort of thing.
I think we'll let staff handle the rest of those
Yes, we do.
I have to do with
Unless-
fishing.
unless,
Yeah.
it probably does have to do with fishing and coastal issues. That might be a natural for you.
I was thinking Bill, kind of.
I haven't written your name down yet.
It's TERRY.
We'll-
I
I
got
don't
it.
even know what they do, yeah.
We'll investigate and send it to
Okay.
you guys, so you can have a better.
Tentatively,
that.
we're gonna put Terry in there.
I'll take it.
And the rest we'll let the staff handle unless you need an alternate. You can call upon us.
Absolutely.
I think we covered everything there fairly well. Designate a subcommittee for Mo's lease negotiation.
Typically, Bill and I were getting ready to do that, but as it's a new council, if you would like to assign somebody other than Bill to work with me on that negotiation, that's fine too.
personally, I think it would be good to proceed with what you're planning.
Okay.
I mean, with Bill.
Yes,
Super.
I agree. Any objections?
No, I have no objection, but when they make an agreement with Mo's, it'd come in front of the board for approval, I would assume.
I would think
All
so,
leases of that sort of thing, what we do is we go out, we negotiate it, we bring it back, lay it in front of you, and then you guys get a chance to take a look at it and see.
Okay, discuss ordinance 4 revision process and consider new list of definitions. Who's-
You wanna-
No, go ahead.
Ordinance 4 is in need of revision. It's fairly old, as you
Not
can
two of
see.
us. Those of us that remember 1974, it's not really old.
For my time.
We need to start somewhere. You know, we've had a lot of projects on our plate, and we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and this is what needs to be addressed. And we thought with a brand new board, this might be a wonderful opportunity to get started. So this is more of just an information for you at this stage. This is ordinance 4, and I have worked on a list of revised definitions. It's just a start. I would like for you, or I request that you review them, and we will bring this up as old business at the next meeting and go from there.
Are we just looking at definitions? Because there's some other issues in
No,
there.
there's
that
lots
have
of
some-
issues. I'm taking one section at a time.
Okay,
So I figured let's just deal with the definitions first, get that ironed out, then move on to the next section.
okay.
But just, it will be basically a work in progress as we go.
Yeah, I particularly, or personally didn't see anything that I had difficulties with as far as the definitions are concerned. Like I said, there were some other issues. Section 10 needs to just go away. But,
Yeah, I agree. So there's a lot, there's definitely some
yeah, some real
things. Right.
issues.
So we will just take one section at a time,
Okay.
but please review it, write down your notes, because we will eventually get there.
Good, okay.
Okay,
But as far as definitions are concerned, I didn't see anything in there that.
We need to add some in there, and we'll present you with, we'll send you
Right.
some emails and show you some things that we're thinking about that we probably ought to add.
Yeah, the ones that were presented, and I'm assuming that those are the ones that have a font that is current with today's technology.
Yes,
Not
and the,
somebody pushing a
and the bullet
Royal
points.
typewriter.
You didn't have a key punch card there with it.
Right, yes.
Okay, it's time for other items by the commission. Do you have anything you'd like to bring up, Nancy?
I do. I looked at this video and it has suggestions for a brand new board of going over the ground rules, the how things have been going, and so that we don't walk in and make changes or things without knowing what's going on, to just how the board's going to work. And I just wanted to bring that up because you will each either see this or find this information at the seminar,
Okay.
to which I'm not going to go because it's just too inconvenient right now, but I did
Yeah.
watch all these videos, and this one's very good.
And these are produced by the Special Districts Association. That gives, and these are overviews of all special districts, whether it is fire or school or what have you. That, so while it addresses special districts, doesn't necessarily address a special district like a port, but it does give some really good information on what a board does, its functions and responsibilities. So very good information. Sometimes it's hard to get through.
Well, that one was easy.
The last
It
one
a-
was nicer.
Well,
that last
this
section.
one, the very last one, I didn't like the
At all,
presentation
yeah, some
at
of them are,
all,
yeah.
but, yeah,
But good information.
yes, it is.
Yes.
Anything else?
No,
Okay, Jay, you have anything?
Yes, I personally haven't viewed the tapes yet, but I did write a statement that I'd like to read tonight. And if it's in conflict with the tapes, well, so be it. My statement is, I believe that the wholesale changes in the commission came about because voters wanted a change in the way the port functions and its role in the community. The last commission just approved the strategic plan, which is, I assume, now sent to the state. After casually reading, however, there are some points that need to be made. And these are just a few of them. For example, page 15 talks about parking fees, but makes no mention of the fact that we are in competition with ourselves, requiring paid parking in one parking lot and encouraging free boat trailer only parking in another. Also, I found it interesting that the document was passed by the commission on June 19th, 2013, while the new commission took office on July 1st, 2013, yet the new 5-year plan lists the replaced commissioners as the present board. Page 43 talks about a 56-foot research vessel that is moored here year-round, yet is really here much less than half of the time. The same page also talks about the commercial fishing fleet, which has, quote, less than 10 active commercial fishing boats, when actually that number is really less than 2, or 2 or less. The next page lists sport fishing, which includes spring Chinook. These fish have not been in the Siuslaw River since it was glacial fed, which has not happened in my lifetime. I hope it doesn't appear that I am being super critical of the plan. That is not my intention. The strategic plan is a huge and impressive document that satisfies many requirements, but may not be the best measuring tool for actually measuring progress on specific projects. I think that the Commission needs to get started now on an action plan that has specific goals and objectives, which with measurable benchmarks that can be used on a monthly basis to hold ourselves and staff accountable. These goals should include: 1, a marked increase in big boats, specifically commercial fishing boats in the West Moorage area. This should be done through fee restructuring, including financial incentives for commercial boats that fish from our port, and additional financial incentives for those who bring their catch back to our docks to sell. A secure yet obscure storage area and other amenities would be a plus. Number 2, Major improvements in the riverfront RV area. We have a new hiker-biker campground. Now let's do something for the folks that roll in their $1 million motorhomes, which should include improved non-gravel parking spots and security. Number 3, reassign staffing to cover the needs of our customers. RV parks and fishing docks such as ours are busiest on the weekends, yet our skilled, knowledgeable maintenance staff is Monday through Friday. Boat fueling should be on an as-needed basis. These are just three of the areas that I feel this commission needs to address in an action plan that we can review monthly. Activity breeds activity, and this is a process that we need to address 12 months out of the year, not just 4 or 5.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have a proposal for how we should implement this?
I think we need to get started on us producing an action plan that addresses at least these issues. And something that is concise, consistent, measurable, has benchmarks that we can click off and see that we're heading in the right direction.
Jay, going back to your first point about the strategic business plan, how bound are we to that?
Well, I think Bob can answer that question. It's a plan that, I don't think we should do anything that's in conflict with the strategic plan.
But
this is specific stuff. That's a 5-year, we can't wait 5 years to get these things in place. That boat moorage out there needs to be addressed now.
yes, I agree with you. But I guess my question is, can we make changes to the business plan?
Yes, I don't know why we can't. We are in charge.
Right.
Okay. I mean, I read it too, and it's
Yeah, that's how I feel.
like, I agree with everything you said, almost everything you said.
The strategic business plan is a living document. It'll be changed on an annual basis. We'll report to the state on anything that has changed or modified to it. And that's how it's supposed to be. We should have been doing that for the last 10 years and have not. So you will see that plan will ebb and flow depending on those projects that we have and that we do. Now, I will mention something to you. You need to make sure you read through all of your documents and all that. Some of what Jay has brought up is operational and is not the duties of this particular board. That is not what you do. So you need to go through this and make sure that when you present these things, that you're not into the operational side of this.
And that's part of what this is.
Exactly. We set
Yeah.
policy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to have a work session to come up with this list?
I'd be happy to have a work session. That's fine with me.
I think that a work session should only come after everyone has been to either the conference or reviewed all of these, because there are parameters in there that the board does not do.
Nancy, I'm not gonna go to the work session, and I'll try to take time to look at that, but don't hold my feet to the fire to that. I wasn't elected based on the education I'm going to receive. And if I step on your toes, I'll apologize now. If I step on Jay's toes, Ron's, or Bob's. But to hold that decision based on that, I find no merit in that, in all honesty.
Well, except that we have a manager and we can't micromanage.
I never said we could.
Yeah, and that's what this refers to, this particular one.
And I don't think any of us have the intention of micromanaging. I think we need to set goals and guidelines, which isn't micromanaging. It's his job how they get carried out. We just set, this is how we want it to go. Make it do that.
In retrospect, let me add one more thing. I agree with what Jay said. We're not here to micromanage, but we can set goals or ask questions why or why not this is not being handled.
True.
And that's what Jay's alluding to. Believe me, we're not gonna be out there with a signboard saying, bring your boat here. That's not our job. We're not here to do that. but would like to know what steps are being made to do this or do that, or to improve the campground. We see that, so.
I would also encourage you at this time to come in this office and find out. The one thing that I have found is that, other than Nancy, no one's been into, well, and Ron, been in to visit to find out what we're working on, what we have, and why we have made the decisions that we've had, and what we're doing to go through that process. That door is open. That's part of your charge, is to come in, understand what's going on, what the business function is, what the business plan is. And these meetings are for you to take a look at the recommendations that we make and make actions on those. Not to sit and necessarily deliberate the list of items that I have sent you that we are working on or that we have completed. So again, the door is open. You need to come and visit. Let's talk about business, understand why these decisions have been made, the research that has gone into those decisions. That doesn't necessarily come up at this table. So would invite you to do that.
Thank you, except, I mean, that's the first time I felt like I was invited in.
Oh,
So
absolutely. Yeah.
appreciate it.
Terry, do you have anything you want to bring up?
I do. I mean, I'd like to know if we're moving on from Jay's, or
No, I'm good.
did you decide if you were going to have a committee?
I didn't make that decision, no. I mean, Nancy recommended that
we wait.
You recommended that we don't. I'm good either way.
Let me make a suggestion that you come in, have these conversations. After you've had these conversations, then at the next meeting, let's talk about whether you want to assign committees and stuff once you've learned some of the history of what we've done. Just my suggestion.
I have the only thing I'd like to bring up is I see that we're evicting the commercial tenants, and myself being one. I'll declare that right now. And I have no concern over that because I've moved my stuff out a long time ago. But I've had 3 other fishermen approach me and say, hey, what are we going to do here? But other stuff's getting moved in place. I just want to know, did the board make the decision to evict the tenants? Did the staff
Evicted
make?
tenants?
Yes.
What do you mean by evicted tenants?
Well-
We haven't evicted anybody since I've been here.
Well, can you be more specific?
Yeah, I can. They were sent letters to remove their stuff from the commercial storage.
Okay, commercial
Oh,
storage.
it's commercial storage at
That's
the end
what-
of their contracts.
Yes. Well, they're a tenant.
Okay.
I just want to know who made the decision, what basis we made that decision. I've had 3 commercial fishermen come up to me and say, what am I going to do? And I'm here to ask questions and find out, is it necessary? I mean, I see some of the stuff's been moved out and other stuff has come in, and I'm not sure what's going on back there.
Exactly, and that's why you need to come in and understand what we're doing, why the business plan is set up the way the business plan is set up to do, yes.
So I can't get an answer here, or you're not prepared.
Depends on how long you want to stay. I mean, all of these things that you're talking about, and what Jay's brought up, what you're bringing up now, are business plans that have been set in place over the last 6 months. So if you want to sit here and go over every decision and thought process that the staff and previous board has put into these thought processes and ideas, we can do that. But we're going to be here a while, and we're going to be here a while at every meeting. Or do as I suggest, come in, let's talk about it so that you get a history of what we're doing before we start making assumptions about what it is that we have done.
Okay, and just answer to one question then, was it the staff or the board that made the decision on that?
That is staff because it's an operational decision.
Okay, that answered that question.
But to clarify, it's not an eviction.
Well, I had in the back of my mind to establish some sort of a task force to see what we could do to induce more commercial fishermen into our port. So I think our port is very, very important, and it is during the time we were candidates, it was brought up several times that is something we needed to do, and I think it would be very good if there's a way to do it. And I'm thinking maybe a task force of of a couple of us and maybe some commercial fishermen and some of the other people in the communities that have ideas that might help us solve some of these problems. But I think that maybe we'll wait a month and sort things out a little bit.
Just for the record, can you be a little bit more specific on, is it commercial fishing in general? Bringing boats into harbor? What?
Bringing boats
You
in the
referenced
harbor
a problem.
primarily, but that'd also tie in though with getting a fish buyer and whatever else we might need to help entice them to come into
So
here.
bringing boats in, getting a fish buyer,
Yeah,
okay.
and looking at, a way, what are they gonna do with their catch when it gets here? You have to be able to.
All of that is in process, so that's what you need to learn.
Right, I know you're working on some things for that.
Yes.
So, I think we'll get with Bob and find out a little more about what's going on and readdress this next month. Everybody in agreement with that?
Sure.
Yes.
Speak something on your mind.
I'm not gonna say yes or no. I'm in disagreement with it, but for now, I'm gonna say, because it's not gonna do me any good right here. I think we're just putting it off.
Yes,
You
we
know?
are.
That's fine. I'll vote to put it off.
It's not really putting it off. What you're doing is giving yourself some time to come in and learn all of the various things that are happening. We've got probably 30 projects going at one time and different research elements to those projects of variables, financials, all that sort of thing that don't become public until they come in and we decide that, they actually are a project worthy of you remember that you guys are a legislative body. You're not a operational body. You're a legislative body. One thing I would encourage you to investigate right now too is the Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund. What way that you want this port to report and what stance you want us to take on that in Congress. This is one of the things that this group really needs to look into, understand, and give us a feeling on where you want to go with this. I have my ideas, but this is a legislative body that needs to look at that. You guys need to be looking at how you want to take a look at $1.6 million of refinancing that we need to do and how you think that level of finance needs to be dealt with. So these are a couple very large issues that this body, this group of elected officials needs to take a look at. We have our ideas, but we need to bring them to you. So there's a lot of things that we need to catch you up to date. It's just a situation where we have 4 new people because of the way it happened. Typically, the reason that we only have 2 people going in and out of it at a time is because you have 3 people that are constant or have been here for years, 2 new people coming on. They're able to be assimilated a little easier than 4 brand new people at one point in time. So you're at a disadvantage of not having all of the information in front of you that you typically would have, or you would have the ability to talk to 3 other people that have been here for some time. So this is a unique situation. So we need a little bit of time to get you the information the way that you are comfortable with getting that information so that you can understand what we're doing.
Okay,
I like the picture on that.
yeah, you like that one?
Yeah, that's good.
Mrs. Green, 3rd graders. Let's see. Anything else from the commissioners?
Yeah, are we gonna discuss anything on Mr. Twombly's letter, or are we gonna put that off to next meeting?
I'm going to put that off. We can discuss it, and I'll probably say the same thing John Scott said before, is that it's a manager decision, and he came in and he made his speech, and the manager is here to listen to him, and from there, it's in his hands.
And also in the information that I learned in this is that when you listen to an audience, you don't act on anything that same day. That's the small, what are we, small district?
Special district.
Yeah, special district, that's the recommendations.
You
So
want
there-
us to sleep on it.
So there are some things, yeah, that are very valuable in these rules and regulations and things that, that we have in front of us.
Yes.
Well, personally, I know that this presentation's been made before during other meetings, and I think this particular item is definitely a management decision. And I don't know why or what has gone into that decision, but I'm willing to certainly abide by it. So that's just my personal feeling. I think Bob very eloquently stated that we are the newbies on the block and don't have all the information. But I know that this item is not new. It has been brought before the prior commission, and apparently nothing has happened, and I certainly don't know why, but you know, I think that's a typical example of a management decision, and I'm good with that.
As am I.
I am too. I just wanted to I just had to ask a
Okay.
question if we're gonna discuss it.
Okay.
I feel it is a management decision, and
Okay, moving on. How about some reports? How about a manager's report?
Excellent.
Since the president has nothing to
The
report.
president has none. I sent you, hopefully you all have the information on the projects that we're into and that we have accomplished over the last 16 months. Our biggest issue right now at hand is trying to find money to rebuild the bulkhead. It's about 1,000 feet, anywhere between 800 to 1,000 feet of bulkhead that we need to replace. And what you'll find out is part of the RV park decision-making and hold up on some of the improvements in some of that area have to do with the bulkhead. When that bulkhead is replaced out here or rebuilt from the boat launch east about 1,000 feet, you're going to be disrupting an awful lot of waterfront properties that we use to rent out. When we do that, it's going to come back about 20 feet for the footings that come in and the typical engineerings that we have seen, how they build these things. And so our decision last year to upgrade some of those properties were particularly for that reason. We know we're going to have to dig them up again, and we're going to have to do it as soon as we get the money to be able to do that. We've got some estimates around $750,000 to $800,000 to replace that bulkhead. It's failing. It's going to need to be redone within the next couple of years. So some of the decision making in that, Jay, was based on having to dig them up again.
And I don't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, I do.
Yeah, you
On
do.
purpose. The picture in the strategic plan shows basically one section, it looks like, that is failing. Is that the entire bulkhead that needs to be replaced?
Well,
The whole point is to try to get it as far east as we can when we go in to replace it there, to do a portion of it. We'll take whatever portion we can get in any kind of funding, but we'd like to do 1,000 feet if we can possibly get it. Well, how many feet do you have right now?
It's about 650, 700 feet, depending on which.
You want to expand the
Yeah,
footprint?
yeah. Depending on which decade you want to look at, where, I mean, once it gets up about 500 feet, it starts to get into which decade was that added into it. Part of the rationale to it is that when working with DSL, Department of State Lands, they tell you that you cannot recoup lost land. So if you had a flood and the sand was taken away, you're not allowed to fill that back in. However, if you're replacing a bulkhead, and we can show that that bulkhead really goes 1,000 feet rather than 650, then we can backfill in that property. So when we say that we want to do 1,000 feet, it really depends on what we can negotiate with them to say, which of these bulkheads is the current bulkhead and which of these bulkheads do we want to replace. And so we want to go as far as we can so that we can recoup some of that property that it has changed zip codes on us since the last floods that we have. So right now, Susie Lacer is still working as a contractor for us for the researching those grants, contracts, whatever monies that we can get from whatever agencies. So that's our biggest one right now. We have other projects. The wharf project is officially ended, which is good. So now we can start working on some of the properties with Moe's and 1499 and some of these other, 1499 being our old office, fixing some of the things that we've put off for a year and a half or more because it didn't make sense to do it while the project was going on. ODOT has come in, and their money was behind the wharf project. Connect, was it 3 or 4? Connect 3. Money was behind that, so they came in, did their final inspection, went through it, was very, very pleased with the construction that was done. It should be a 30-year fix, so it'll probably outlast most of us here in the room. Well, maybe not Amy, but the rest of us. So that will free us up to do some projects that needed to be done a couple of years ago. Some of the walkways and things out there were not, really not up to speed. We'll have those. I have been working with a fish buyer. Does not wish to be mentioned quite yet until we get them into contracts to come to Florence. So that should be done. Working with a couple other small businesses to get them on the property. When you come in, we'll talk about those. Some of the stuff that, while it is obviously public information until such time as you get these people into actual documentation as far as non-disclosures and things like that, we shouldn't really bring up their names and things. So we do have several of these things going on, along with one really, really neat thing that we did was that since I've been here, I've been told by our landscape people and our maintenance people that you cannot get rid of sand burr, sand mat.
Is that little thistle?
Thistle that is on the ground that was goat heads or something like that, people called them. We called Oregon State University, and within an hour or so we had some information. If you look out here past the employee parking, you'll see where some green spots have shown up. We've put some marker dye in the product that we put out there. It's already killing it within 4 days. So we'll be able to go through the whole park and eradicate this thistle that has been bothering people for many years. It kills it without killing the grass that surrounds it, and it's also been certified for use around estuaries and things. So we'll be able. It's going to transform all of the grass area that you see in here into a much nicer place for the kids to run and people to be able to walk barefoot and the pets not to be bothered. So we have a lot of those projects going on. Nothing huge other than the good to say after we get rid of the wharf, but nothing huge to say other than the bulkhead at this point in time. So now's a really good time for you folks to come in and if you have other projects that you would like to see us focus on versus the ones that we have in the listing, please make suggestions, take a look at them.
And this is probably a question I should be asking you, but what's our situation with ICM?
Situation?
You
They're
mean as far as a
leasing?
lease?
Right.
I
Oh.
believe, 2 years ago in December,
It
they,
reverted to.
it was a 20-year lease with a renewal every 5 years.
Mhm.
Up for
So we're,
renegotiation every
yeah,
5 years.
3 or 4
So
years
we're,
from now.
Probably halfway through that first 5 years.
Okay, but the property reverted back to port ownership, is that correct?
They own the business, we own the building.
Building,
Right.
right, exactly.
Yes,
So
Same as
the,
most then.
Right.
exactly.
yeah. Okay.
And I have copies of, if you want to see the lease, I'm more than happy to email it to you if you want any more information.
I had a suggestion from, I can't even remember who now, that they would like to see the port and everybody try to eradicate as much Scotch broom as possible. I haven't noticed, is there some around here?
We, no, not
Not
on
at
our
all.
property.
Not on our property. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
No, he's
Yeah,
being
there's
sarcastic.
some.
Okay.
Yes, we have a ton of Scotch room. We have different people come in and we have a volunteer. Gene comes in and cuts it down. We bring in Camp Florence periodically to cut it down. One of the things that is interesting about Scotch broom that, while not on the port because we've already cut it down, that we did in our homeowners association is I contacted again the Department of Agriculture and they sent us up some weevils that we introduced, and we are starting a small colony of weevils that, while along the riverbanks, you really don't want to get rid of Scotch broom because it keeps erosion from happening, but you don't want the plant to be able to reproduce. So these weevils embed themselves into the pods, and they eat the flowering part that would allow the plant to reproduce without killing the plant. And so we've started a small colony in our homeowners association up off of the river, which seems to be starting to grow and get bigger. It's difficult because the Department of Agriculture said that they've not been able to bring anything really successfully north of the South Jetty because of the weather, the wind, the cold and stuff. So there are different ways to do it. We have knocked down so much of it here that we weren't able to do it since I've been here to test it out. But with our wind and with the cold out on the end of our, by our dredge spoils, I'm not really sure we could really even start something like that. It's pretty nasty out there when the wind comes up and it gets cold out there. But we do knock it down. We've got huge piles of it that the kids from, the gentlemen from Camp Florence come up and haul away from us on an annual basis.
Those weevils don't work on cormorants, do they?
Yeah, I'll be bringing that up on film.
Anybody have anything else? I would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
I'm adjourning our meeting at 7:57. So we're done.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
You did a good job, President.